My friends, how are you doing today? I hope everybody's well. The release day. So, sorry, I didn't even really realize. My wife's like, why are you releasing your course on a holiday, like May 24 on the Monday? I can't believe I never even thought of that. So, please keep in mind, I have no expectation that you actually do work on Monday, the 24th. If you have time to spend with your friends or doing something you enjoy or with loved ones, do that instead. And then, the next day, then we'll get to business. But I want to go over, I know some people are wanting, you've been seeing that I've got the content out and now the assignments are out. There's folders for the assignments. There's basically 4 assignments. Okay. I tried to keep this like, the vibe I got from people was that they were interested in the course and the content, but a little bit worried about this fact that it's like 3 weeks and really intense. That sounds really intense from a perspective of like, what are you going to do? Like, get all these readings and then have all this expectation that you write all these papers and stuff. And so I tried to kind of spend a lot of time on what am I trying to even do with a course? And I'm trying to share ideas and present, I'm hoping, a different angle at this whole topic of kind of advanced developmental psychology and behavioral analysis and how it relates to mental health and how all these things relate to mental health because it's such a core aspect of humanity. So I think so now the YouTube videos are all up, the assignments are ready to go. What I want to do is create this scenario where you're not spending a lot of time worrying about course details. There's 4 assignments, each worth 25%. They're going to all be these options where you can either do a written response or a video or an audio. If you've been my student in the past, it's like the digital workshops ideas. I really wanted to create, I'm really hoping like stuff that you're going to interpret as cool content and interesting and then have you kind of respond to it. And I'm going to show you the idea. Okay, so enough of the chitter chatter. That was a super long intro. So, oh wait, yeah, I gotta scroll over here. Okay, so this course, let's read you the description quick, even though you can all read this, but this course explores the complex interplay between human behavior and mental health. Through an exploration of current issues related to mental health, the interaction between the individual and society will be highlighted. Topics such as the way modern digital society is influencing our mental health and well-being will be explored, while also considering the interplay of dualities in human nature and development. You have to write these things for the administrators too, right? Because, well, descriptions are just, there's a formula sort of. How do these influence our worldviews and interpretation of events or interactions and interpersonal relationships? In turn, how do they position us to interact with the world, influencing not just ourselves, but the other? We will explore ideas and methods for engaging this dynamic social world in a manner that cultivates health and community. How's that for broad enough for you? So course policies and stuff, you can look over all that. This is in the syllabus. That's just cut and paste from the other ones. It's all standard. We're going to be looking at this complex relationship between human behavior and mental health, the ways our modern digital society is influencing our mental health and well-being, the complexities of interaction between self and other, how to use advanced understandings of human development to foster community, and applications for development and behavioral mental health practices. And I made a lot of content for you. And I don't know. I kind of just went into this idea of, if you've taken my classes before, I did a lot of lecture PowerPoint kind of based presentations, and I did some of that in this, and I did some reactions, I did some readings, and I performed some stuff, and I actually released. It's not actually kind of with the content, but it's on the channel. Some old podcast stuff I made that kind of was related, well, that was directly related. And so I really tried to just, I don't know, go outside the box and make this a different kind of course. And Now that it's like all public, because I'm just making these private videos, right? You'll notice like the videos only came, I've been like literally publishing them to YouTube as private, not as public. And then I just flipped them all. So now I'm all like, I don't know. I just hope you enjoy it. That's it. Okay. Yeah, and then applications for developmental and behavioral mental health practices. So no textbook necessary. All the documents, so you'll see for layers of mind, um, I provided layers of mind. That assignment is basically the reading list I would have used if this was like a 15-week or whatever course. And you're going to see when I get to that assignment, I'm going to want each of you to like really deep dive into one of them. And then my advice would be to archive all the rest of them, save them. I presented them all in there for you as PDFs. I got them all through your library. And so the copyright trail is pretty clean. So you can just download them all yourself instead of, because again, that was like all part of my philosophy here is like, I don't want you spending a lot of time looking for things, trying to figure things out, us going back and forth with, what did you mean by this? It's like, I want you to take these assignments and run with them. And especially like a lot of you have been my students before, and a lot of you did really well in my classes because you took your assignments and just did them, right? And just, I want you to be kind of creative, but yourself. Like, you don't have to be overly creative if that's not your style. You can just reflect on these things. And I want you to kind of have fun with it. And I'll reward sort of like the effort and the creativity, and also just like the taking it seriously and trying hard. Yeah, so anyways, so all this stuff's either like video content or audio content, or PDF kind of stuff that is on the course site. I just put that library comment for like copyright reasons, right? Okay, so in big general frameworks, it kind of only makes sense with how the assignments fit into, but I'm sort of looking at week one, starting now, is like this idea of being human in human society. And I started even with this idea of human origins. And like the reason for that presentation is to sort of set this tone that an important part of the human story is that it starts in mystery. And anyway, so then I like kind of build this whole idea. Kindly inquisitors, part of this idea of society, and I try to kind of talk a little bit about, well, being human in human society, and then the stuff I have structured for week two. And again, it doesn't necessarily matter the order, right? That I'm trying to intend this to be like a self-directed experience for you. Week two is going to be looking at these topics of free will or determinism. Like, is everything in your life, are you just responding to situations like pure determinism, or are you like, well, what's free will, and how does this relate to like ideas around self and other and all that kind of stuff? And that's where the Century of Self documentary, and also the mind control stuff started to come in, and the cult stuff, because that's the opposite of free will. And then in the third week, I get into the whole idea of Rosetta Stone and bread and circus. And then when I say like review week 1, 2, and 3 content folder, that just means like the folders on the Nipsing Blackboard website. Okay, so then evaluations. Yeah, so digital workshop 1 and A and B, and I'm going to go over, the next thing I'm going to do is just go through each assignment. So digital workshop A, layers of mind, 25%. Digital workshop B, human philosophies of mind, 25%. Lessons from the 20th century, this documentary review exercise, 25%. Ion and Rosetta Stone, concept integration and application assignment, 25%. So just boom, 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 boom. 4 things, 25% each. All projects are going to be due on June 11th. So by the end. So it'd be nice if, I would suggest you're chipping away, but again, it's like, I'm going to give you the opportunity. In hindsight, I just had the thought right now that from a marking perspective, that might not be the smartest idea, but I want to give you some flexibility, right? So just as you chip away, put them in and I'll just kind of mark as we go. You're a small group. So really, if you all handed them everything in right on the 11th, I think I have a week that's still very doable. So it's just kind of funny. I never really thought of that. But I'm doing the live video, so I'll keep going. And honestly, I don't care. I'm really interested to see what you do. And if I have to bunker in for a week or so to view it all, that'd be cool. So this additional important points, again, like the YouTube, I'm using YouTube again. I don't know if I've said this, probably said this a couple times, but I like to use YouTube as the host because with making this much video content, I keep hitting like all the limits in Blackboard and that kind of stuff and stuff. So using YouTube as a host just allows me to just put links in the Blackboard site, right? But everything that you're going to need for the course will be sourced to Blackboard. Pre-recorded, you know that. Intellectual property, again, that's just like standard. Okay, let's get into assignments. So don't worry, I'll change it quick. You just gotta stare at my head for a sec. Okay, so I'll go layers of mind first. So with this assignment, I want you to pick one of the articles or chapters in the layers of mind folder. Okay, so you're going to go on to Blackboard, look for it. It's like couldn't be marked more clearly. I think it's like layers of mind assignment materials or something like that. I guess it could be more clear. That's kind of confusing, but you'll find it right away and you'll just see it's just a ton of like PDFs and stuff. And I would honestly recommend to take all of those. It's quite the collection, and it's sort of like the long-winded reading list I would give if we had more time, right? But again, I tried to make this course digestible. What I want you to do is pick one of them, okay? And then I want you to analyze it based on these questions. What are the 3 core ideas from the article or book chapter? Why are these important? And these questions seem a little basic, but what I want to do is give you the flexibility to answer them in maybe creative or outside the box ways or in a way that speaks to you. What would be the most insightful, or maybe you didn't agree with it? What's the most disagreeable piece of it? Because in my classes, as much I want to make this very clear, like you can take anywhere on the spectrum from total agreement to total disagreement to right in the middle to, partial on any of these ideas. What did you find most insightful or disagreeable in the article that you chose? Now, if you've been my student in the past, I like this question. I kind of love this question as a teacher, like to ask you, why should people care about it? So say you're talking about a chapter from Viktor Frankl, or you're talking about William James and the sickness of the soul, and you're talking about why people should care about that. Well, because there's deep meaning embedded in that essay. Present an argument either for or against the relevance of the article or again chapter. Discuss a specific way that insights from that article could be used to help us navigate our complicated modern age. Or just basically all I mean by that's a bit wordy, but all I mean by that is like, how can that article or chapter or whatever, the ideas that you got from that, help us better understand ourselves? Right? So that's just like kind of the application part of the question. Okay, so then if you've been my student before, this bottom part, I know it's a little bit small, but maybe I'll just go back to full screen for a sec here. Basically what I'm going to do is say, like, if you want to do it as a paper, you can sort of do just a traditional paper. You don't have to do it as a research response. You can use obviously you're going to be using the source material that you've chosen as your topic. You can answer as a more traditional essay. So then I say like 6-page minimum, maximum 8-page, double spaced. 8 page is kind of normal. Um, but then the other option is you can do a video response. Okay, and you can answer those in video. And I've had students make kind of like narrated PowerPoint style videos. You can do it as spoken. Some people just do like a video of themselves giving like a verbal response that's sort of scripted, and just I would ask to keep it around like 10 minutes or so. But I want you to have the opportunity. If you want to take this course and take the assignments from like an audio visual perspective, you have the freedom to do that. But also, if you want to take a more traditional written approach, you have the freedom to do that. And you also have the option of doing it either way. Okay, so I know that's a little bit vague, but basically what I'm saying is those are the questions. Pick your article or chapter. Those are the questions. And then you can either write a short paper about it, or you can do like a kind of video or podcast style response, and full creativity, because I know you all have different computers and software knowledge about different kinds of things. Some of you might make a pre-recorded PowerPoint. Some of you might be using like, I don't know, your phone app or whatever. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, so here's the second one. So now, oh, sorry, one sec. This is my first time using, oh, no, it's not actually. I think I've used documents on Word on here before. Actually works pretty clean. So the second one, I want you to look at this human philosophies of mind. And for this, I think a cool reference, and I thought this was a kind of cool, different idea for a topic. Hope you find it neat. Is here we're going to be referencing the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. I've always used that as kind of a go-to. It's a great resource, excellent resource. And for this, what I basically want you to do is, again, so there's kind of these two workshops where you're going to be picking a topic and doing a deep dive into it. And then there's two things that I'll talk about in a second. So for this one, again, so now for this, go onto Blackboard again, and you'll see there's a second assignment folder called Human Philosophies, or maybe I actually just called the folder Philosophies of Mind. And you'll see it's just a list. You'll just see all the links. It's all links, hyperlinks to the different specific pages. Yeah, so I want you to take a deep dive, read it, read more about it. You can use that as a starting point and read more, or you can focus mainly on the article that the link brings you to. It's all going to be starting at the Stanford Encyclopedia, but there's probably hyperlinks you can find keywords and just read about your idea, right? But I don't necessarily need you to pull in any outside links. You can do all of your answers from just that link. What's the core idea from that philosophical approach, and why are those ideas important? Again, I really want to focus on this idea of, especially since we only have 3 weeks, here's some ideas. What do you think about it? Why do you think this could matter? Why should people care again? Discuss a specific way that insights from your topic can be used to help us navigate this complicated modern age. I keep saying stuff like that. But that's sort of going to be one of the themes of this course. And again, the options are the same. I'm trying to keep the assignment options of how you're supposed to respond relatively basic. Okay, so there's going to be two. You've seen now two of them. The ways you're going to respond for all four are the same. All four you can do. You can just do 4 papers, or you could do 2 presentations and 2 papers, or 3 in 1, or 4, whatever. Okay, next one. So again, the bottom parts of all these are going to be the same. So I'm missing one, but okay, I'm going to do understandings of self next. Hang on one second. I'm just going to open the last one too. Sorry, I know this is actually I'm going to do this one first. Okay. Sorry, I promise. process. Here we go. Layers. Weird. Okay, so I'm going to be doing, the next one I'm going to do is Lessons of the 20th Century. Let me just put it on this screen and then I'll just share that screen. Philosophies of Mind. No, I already showed that. Layers of Mind. I already showed. Syllabus. Oh, here. Okay. Sorry. That's silly. Okay, after much ado, sorry about all that. It was like behind the window I was looking at. I had two monitors. Anyways, you're like, enough of that. Sorry about that. Okay, so the third assignment. So now there's two workshops, 25%, 25 each, and then two integration activities, I'm calling it. One is going to be focused, but both worth 25%. One is going to be focused on this idea I'm calling lessons from the 21st century, from the 20. Oh, sorry, I got to change that. It's supposed to say 20th. And for some reason on the actual document, live edit. Sorry about that. Okay. See, this video is going great for like 18 minutes and then it just went completely off the rails. Okay, I'll try to recompose and just refocus and stop focusing on myself and just on the thing. So, lessons from the 20th century is this idea. What I wanted to do with this is say, okay, I know that this, especially this part of the course, is outside the realms of a lot of maybe the psychology courses you've taken, maybe not, but I think it probably is. But I wanted to, especially with Century of Self, this documentary that looks at the rise of psychoanalysis as this powerful form of persuasion. And it's really the story of Edward Bernays, who's Freud's nephew, and who becomes this huge influence in America in all kinds of ways that aren't like counseling psychology. And one of my points with this assignment and with an underlying theme in this course is that although a lot of you and maybe all of you are interested in psychology from the therapeutic angle, obviously, it's important to understand that people can use that understanding of the mind basically to manipulate, to target, to hurt, to indoctrinate, right? So in this one, I want you to pick. Okay, so I have their student option A or student option B. So student option A, you can pick the Century of Self documentary series. So what I basically did for that is I watched it with you and I just like kind of made comments throughout. And so you can pick that one, or I did the same thing with the Jonestown. Now the Jonestown one, since it's BBC, was more copyright protected, so I had to do that. Those links all are to Dropbox, but it should all work good. And if it doesn't, let me know and I'll make sure you get the file. I've been testing it and I got my brother to try, and I think it's all gonna work. So if you're having any issue, just let me know, please. So regardless of which one you want at watch, I want you to answer these questions of what one would you consider, or what would you consider to be the main lesson of the documentary? Explain it in depth. How can it help us understand the potential threats to free thought? What are the implications for a modern society, and how can we defend ourselves from cult-like groupthink? So both these documentaries talk about this idea of persuasion. And if you're wanting to be free, what I'm kind of getting at that is this idea of understanding this tendency to be cult-like and some of the dynamics around it, or understanding some of the underlying ideas of persuasion presented in Century of Self, and understanding some of the underlying ways that those things happen is basically the best defense against being manipulated yourself. Okay, so pick one of those two. Answer in the ways we've been describing. Okay, so now stop that, and I got one more. We'll save that change. So yeah, 20th century. Got messed up there. Okay, this is the last one. All right, I'm trying to really get this all ready for you for tomorrow morning. It's technically Sunday night, or I guess it's Monday morning at 1:42. So I'm almost done. All right, screen share this. The last one, and I think this is a cool one too. Hopefully you find it the same. Understandings of self and other. Okay, so for this one, I want you to look at the presentations I did, the one ion, and for that one, so I have the links there. I want you to I say, please answer the following from a place of personal reflection and contemplation. What I mean by that is, I'm not expecting like a super technical research paper. I want you to think about this question of define self and what is the relationship between self and ego. Answer this from a perspective of explaining it to a friend in a deep conversation. I'm just meaning by that, like, again, not, I don't need you to be super technical unless you can be, but I want you to kind of just think about it. How would you answer it? And then the second part of that is to choose one of the following Jungian concepts and explain its meaning using an example. So you can pick either the shadow, archetypes, or the collective unconscious. So see how there's kind of two questions in the first part. And then the second part, again, I want you to answer either the top or the bottom. So you'll see basically the question I'm asking you is, so let me just be a little bit more clear here. I want everyone to please answer part A, the ion question. Okay, so that's a two-part question. And then for part two, you can pick either answering this first question about 1984 and Brave New World or this second question about man's search for meaning in Viktor Frankl. Okay, so everybody answers part one, and then everybody chooses one of these two questions for part two. Again, all links provided, all the same information about how to do it. All right, I hope that the repetitiveness of the format response options is my goal is that it's sort of comforting and takes away some guesswork and allows you to just do the work and focus on expressing yourself and thinking about what's interesting about the topics. And I hope that it works that way and everything. And anyways, I hope that this came across okay. I was hoping to make this quick. It's coming up to almost a half an hour, but if you kind of save this video or flag it or no, don't flag it on YouTube, but if you save it or whatever, then this can be kind of the go-to for just the explanation of the specific assignments, right? And again, the heart of these is I want you to just experience this course, watch these videos, and read some stuff about your assignments. And I wanted to try to make a bit of a blend of, okay, you have like either a big article or a chapter to read and analyze deeply, and then the philosophy part. And so that's like a pretty good like reading and application. And then there's like this big video component too. So anyways, hope you like the class. And again, don't do a ton of work on Monday. Relax, enjoy your national holiday, and I can't wait to see some of your assignments. Good luck, and yeah, welcome to the NU Digital Classroom.